Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Vivek.
We are thanking you for taking your time to come here and be with us for now, sir.
Pleasure is mine.
Sir, and we'd like to ask a few of burning questions that we have to you, sir. Sorry.
Sure.
Sir, would you like to introduce us?
Well, my first introduction would be I'm a father of Mitra, who is studying in S7C. I'm thankful to the teammates who have called for this interview. My name is Dr. Manigan Sundaresan and I'm a soft skills trainer. I conduct my own training consultancy called as Youth Corp Training Solutions, and I go to various colleges and companies for training the individuals on various psychological areas. My PhD is in counseling psychology, so I really train the students on psychological inputs, and specifically college students, I train them for becoming placed and getting more ready for their career. I got almost about 18 years of experience, and I studied in NGM College. I was a professor in Mahalingam Engineering College, and so thankful that some of the teachers working here are my students, and I'm very proud to have my students over here. Well, this is about me.
Sir, shall I start?
Please.
The first question, sir. What do you think is the problem most youngsters face after leaving school?
After leaving school and before leaving school, the youngsters face one major problem, that is not deciding upon their career. When they try to decide upon the career, they have lots of confusions. Let's say, for example, if a student is in the 11th standard and he has not decided his career yet, and he passes out in the 12th standard, and accidentally he chooses one college, accidentally he becomes a graduate, accidentally he gets into a job, and accidentally he sets up a career. So career misfortune and career mislap is the biggest problem that most of the youngsters face. So that's the answer for the first question. And if they have to correct, let's say for example, you are in the 8th standard and your friends are also in the 8th standard. Maybe in the 8th standard or 9th standard, we need to give some exercise called as career mapping, which is exactly what I am doing in my evening classes. So you are part of it, you must be knowing it. So when the career mapping guidance is given, and also when the student is made understand what he or she is good at, then they can skyrocket very easily. That is what I feel, basically.
Thank you, sir. And if you could change one thing in our education system, what would it be?
Strictness and giving lots of strict standards of time, strict standards of the homework, the bulge of homework and the bulge of project work that they are given in the school. My education system change would be, which is what I am doing in my training consultancy, where it is called as edutainment, education mixed with entertainment. I will ask the students to play some games and I will give them some activity, and based upon the activity we will have some discussion, and I ensure that the students get more learning out of that activity. So this kind of change, that is education, entertainment and fun activities mixed together, it will really kindle the brain cortices of the youngster, and they will be really doing good. That's one change I would always love to bring in the education system.
What would you say to a student who is feeling dejected?
I would remind the past experiences, the successful experiences of that boy or girl. To be very frank with you, I would like to narrate a story which happened in 2009, 10 years back. When I was driving down from a college, there was a person who called me up, my ex-student. I don't want to name the college and I don't want to name the student, but the student said, it was 7:30 in the night when I was driving from Kanyakumari district. The student said, sir, how are you? I said, I'm fine and so happy to talk to you after a long time. And he said, just in another half an hour, I'm going to commit suicide. And during that point, if you show some shock, if you show some jerk, that will even motivate the students bigger. So what I said was, congratulations, that's a very brave decision that you have taken, because suicide needs a lot of, big, contradictory kind of discipline and courage. And he was happy and he's stunned. Sir, I'm saying that I'm going to murder myself, and you're saying that, yes, of course, you're going to murder yourself. That requires a lot of courage. But before that, at what time you are going to commit suicide? I asked him. By 8 o'clock, another half an hour. And why did you call me? Said, go for it. Even 7:45, you can do it, I said. And he said, no, sir, I want to talk to you. Right? Go ahead. I don't want to stand between your suicide and your lip. And he said, sir, I would like to talk to you, and don't you want to know the reason why I'm going for this decision, sir? I asked. I don't care, because you have taken the decision. It's one among your decisions. We all thought that you are very good. You are going to be growing very good in the career, but you have taken this decision. This is upon your choice. And sir, would you like to speak anything to me? And I asked him, would you like to ask anything to me? He said, what do you think about me? He asked. And then I made sure that I spoke continuously for 12 and a half minutes. I spoke about his various tiny achievements that he had in the past. Tiny, successful moments that he had been cherishing in the past. And his dad was very sick, and he was the instrumental person to make his daddy, get out of the bed. So I spoke about that. I reminded plenty of good things the boy had done in his 21 years. And the conversation went on and on and on. I cracked some jokes, and I reminded him about how we both played when we were in the session in the college. And I reminded about his friendship. I reminded about his best friend. I reminded about his cousin on whom he had some interest and all that. So it went on for about 45 minutes. And 48th minute, I said that, go on, it's already time. So it's 8:30 in the night. Come on, kill yourself. I would like to wait, and I would like to look into that. He said, so what are you talking? You are encouraging me? No. I'm just reminding you what you wanted to do. You know what, sir? I have got a slight change in the mind. And then I thought, okay, what is the change you are experiencing? Sir, I am changing the decision. Are you postponing the decision, or are you dropping the decision? I asked. He said, no, I'm dropping the decision. Why? Because after you spoke about all these things that had been in my past library, I started feeling special about myself. So for the next 1 year, I'm going to live whatsoever it takes. And I said, congratulations. And he asked me, sir, when I said I'm committing murder, you said congratulations. When I said I'm dropping the idea, you said congratulations. Which congratulations has got more worth, he asked. I said the second congratulations has got more worth because that's coming from my heart. First congratulations came out of my anger. So 1 year later, if you would like to pursue the decision, you can do it. But make sure if you are pursuing the decision, again make a call, I told him. But after that, the boy didn't even try. And now he's working in a very big corporate company. And he's not in India, he's living in London. So what you get from the story is when you are becoming suicidal, when you are becoming dejected or depressed, all you have to do is you have to go back to your personal library. Go back to your second standard life. Go back to your fourth standard life. Go back to the playground activities that you had. Go back to the kindergarten friend that you met. Go back to how you celebrated Diwali or Christmas or Ramzan or Pongal. So reminding all these things will make your brain get a renewed kind of a thought. So this is called as displacement theory in psychology. That's the best way to do. So in my institution and in my training sessions, I always keep the people happy. And even a tiny thing that is done, I clap and I appreciate the boy or the girl. Even a tiny mishap or a misdiscipline, I show animal face and I make sure that it is corrected instantaneously. So all the parents cannot be like this, but a good mentor can always be like this. So the parents have the responsibility of finding out a mentor for their kids. If they do that, the people can get out of the dissection field and suicidal field. Hope that answers your question.
Thank you. And you said that you have about 18 years of experience, sir. You must have been teaching students from the start. What difference do you see between the students then and the students now?
Students then, if they were 25 years old, they had certain level of maturity. But, let me quantify this on a very accurate basis. When I was working as a professor in Mahalingam Engineering College, it was 2004, some 15 years back. So in 2004, a 21 years old guy had certain level of maturity. But the good news is that the same level of maturity that I found in the 21-year-old boy in 2004 is found in a 7th standard student today in 2019. So what do you understand? This is called as generation overlapping evolution. Like a person who has a maturity in 21, as generations pass, the same maturity comes exactly when the boy or a girl is 7th standard or 8th standard. Likewise, now you are in the 8th standard and all our boys here in this room are in 8th standard or 9th standard. Your maturity is going to be in the kid which is studying 1st standard in the same Shanti school. So this evolution is a very good thing. But the point is, parents will go outdated and outdated. The boys and girls will get updated and updated. That is where the opinion mismatch is happening. So what we got to do is sometimes we have to give respect for the opinions of the children. It's called as the OG stage, opinion generation stage. When an opinion generation is done, parents have to really appreciate the opinion. They have to give them elevation for the opinion. If that is not happening, then the previous question we spoke about dissection, the kid immediately goes to the dissection. So we got to be understanding that the kids have more updated brain than us. It's like smartphone. I might be having 2013 model smartphone. Now today, a 6th standard student is able to operate iPhone. I might not be very much aware of using iPhone. Same is the case with the brain also. The person is really good and parents have to take a real step of finding out a mentor, as I mentioned.
would you say to a teacher who wants to inspire a certain student who does not really connect with her or him?
The very reason that the student is not getting connected with the teacher is not the problem with the teacher, and it is not the problem with the student either. It is a problem with some past days of the student. So the teacher has to really do the job of a researcher. The teacher has to go down to the past days of the boy or the girl. The girl or the boy does not like it, but the person has to speak. Let's say, for example, if the student, the so-called student that you're talking about is in the 9th standard, the teacher has to do some research, what he was and how he was in 2nd standard, and what kind of psychic vibrations the child undergone. You see, the psychic vibration is a very magical word. Let's say, for example, in the 2nd standard, if a math teacher was very strict to that particular boy, that is called a psychic vibration, negative psychic vibration. And the boy has that negative psychic vibration coming along with him for a long, long time. And that impacts even if he becomes an occupational person. If he becomes a working class man, if he becomes a businessman in the future, that psychic vibration always stays. It is the responsibility of a teacher to find out the psychic vibration, and they have to dismantle all the psychic vibration. If that is not done, the student is always going to oppose the teacher. So the teacher has to convert himself or herself as a researcher, and they have to go back to the past of the people, past of the child, and they have to literally work something on the psychic vibration. Let's say, for example, let us consider that it's as a realistic one. The 2nd standard student had something with the maths teacher. So the teacher has to speak about that in the 9th standard. Tell me what exactly happened during your 2nd standard. The boy starts crying first of all, and then the teacher digs in, finally gets an important message. The boy says the truth and says that, come on, relax, it is not as serious as you think. Why have you been carrying that burden all along so many years? So then the student becomes awakened. Is right. As the teacher said, it is right. Why have I been carrying that 2nd standard incident till 9th standard? So that is where the transformation happens. Here, the psychic vibration is being dismantled and he is cured. And then he starts developing a very good interest towards a teacher and towards a subject. You know why I'm saying this? Because I had the psychic vibration with my maths teacher when I was in the 4th standard. And nobody really cared about my psychic vibration. It is still there. But right now, I'm able to comprehend between good things and bad things, but not all the children will have the same thing. So the teacher has to make research, get really concerned, and in that moment of concern, you know some troublesome people who are coming to our class, right? So they have their own problems, they have their own kinds of psychic vibrations. We are trying to get into the psychic vibration, but the best part is when we dismantle one psychic vibration, second psychic vibration automatically comes in line. So we are busy with dismantling the psychic vibrations. It is not going to be the same with all the other people also. One psychic vibration or two psychic vibration. Teacher should become a personal researcher of the boy. Then the problem will be solved.
Thank you, sir. Where did your passion for teaching kids come from?
Teaching kids, I don't differentiate between youngsters and kids. Today, both are same. I would like to share a very interesting anecdote. Yesterday, I had a 7th standard student, an 8th standard student, a 2nd year MBA student together in the class. Where an 8th standard student speaks much better English, and a 2nd year MBA student is really trying to speak better English. Right? And ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking only about Naglan here, so he's interviewing. So I would like to give the compliment to Naglan. So Naglan was the person. Good job, Naglan. Give it up. So as you were able to speak well in front of the 2nd year, so today there is no differentiation between teacher for youngsters and teacher for kids. Everybody is one and the same. An 8th standard student speaks much better English than a 2nd year college student. What do you call this? Is it a curse, or is it a kind of a negligence, or is it a kind of an attitude lapse? No, you cannot blame anybody. Education system's foundation has been changed. The second MBA student who is attending the class with me did not have proper support as the 8th standard and 9th standard students are having now. Okay, so that system has to be blamed. So coming to your question, having the passion. I had my English teacher, his name is C.K. Krishnan. He's still living in Balagopalapuram street near Sitaram Lodge. Most of our senior faculty members in many schools are his students. I am also his student. Mr. C.K. Krishnan had a very troublesome students in my class. One troublesome student was Ganesh Mahalingam. Ganesh Mahalingam is still my friend. He always used to make pranks when C.K. sir was writing over the board. He taught us English in morning and he taught us mathematics in the evening. In English class I was a leader, and in mathematics I was his headache. So in the morning, whenever Ganesh Mahalingam was very good in mathematics, by the way. So we both were right opposite poles. Okay, so in the morning when teacher was writing something, Ganesh Mahalingam used to throw some chunks on him, trash on him. So he was very curious to find who was doing it. So he went to Delhi to see his sister. Right, I was in the 9th standard, just like your age. So when he came back from Delhi, we had 5 days of leave for the tuition. So we were really happy. On the 6th day, we came with very sad faces. He's a very strict person, by the way. So he had a very interesting spectacles, and that spectacles had, kind of, a bisection in the either sides of the spectacle. So he was writing down, okay, and you won't believe what I'm saying. He was writing down. So this guy Ganesh Mahalingam, as usual, he throws something. He turns around and he catches it, right? Okay, so we can see such scene in movies, but he really did that. He really did that, and then he took the chalk and he snapped it, and it exactly came and hit on Ganesh Mahalingam's forehead. These kinds of heroics. And after the class, when Ganesh Mahalingam left, he was thrashed, cats and blue. And I asked, sir, how did you know that it was Ganesh Mahalingam who threw the paper? He removed the glass and he showed it to me. There was a kind of a zoom lens that was fixed in the either side. Okay, so he wants me to wear it and see. So when I wore it, my cycle, which was standing at least 4 or 5 feet away from the chair, my cycle was zoomed in that lens. So what happened was, when he was writing up, he saw in the mirror, and it was Ganesh Mahalingam's face that was very reflective. So he made this, and he was able to find out. So this James Bond kind of heroic activity, these things are the ones that started giving me lots of admiration about C.K. Krishnan. He's still living. He's 69 years old. He's still living. Isn't married. That is another reason why I'm very much admired about him. He's a very free person. He never married, and he started working for his society. Seeing him, I wanted to become a teacher. But my mind said that no, I don't want to take classes. I would like to change minds of the people. And then after getting into my +2 and when I got into my MBA, I came across this word called as corporate trainer. So one among the reasons was C.K. Krishnan. Biggest reason was my dad. Because my dad used to advise a lot of things to my elder brother and myself. He was a very good counselor. So these two people, more or like father image, these two people were the keys of getting into this particular field. And 18 years I'm working in this field.
So you said something about evolution, sir, and how the students are getting updated while the parents are getting outdated. What would you say to a parent who wishes to be connected with his student, with his child, in the way you say?
It's very easy. Parents have smartphone. They have 3 GB data every single day. So they have got everything under the sun onto their palm. So all they have to do is Google. Let's say, for example, that guy goes and speaks something about SST, and that guy goes and speaks something about biology, and this guy goes and speaks something about physics. The parent doesn't even know about these 3 concepts, but all the parent can do is they can just Google what it is actually. Right from Bermuda Triangle till Newton's theory, right from Albert Einstein's concepts till Abdul Kalam's concepts, everything is available in the internet. So they have to get into the net world, they have to explore. But the point is, most of the parents are spending a lot of time only with YouTube. And they watch videos, they watch the promos of the serials that are going to be telecasted. They watch cricket match, they watch the reviews of the meme reviews, the meme trolls of every movie and stuff. YouTube is a crazy mechanism. When you watch movie or when you watch one particular video clip, it pulls your brain. It takes at least 35 minutes for you to get your eyeballs out of YouTube when you just get into YouTube one time. So likewise, how many 35 minutes session in a day? You just count. What I am asking them to do is convert all those 35 minutes eyeball sections towards reading, towards gathering information. What is ICSE syllabus? What is IGSE syllabus? What is, what difference between this Indian certificate and Indian governing kind of education system? What is CBSE? Why is it so important? All of a sudden in the past 4 or 5 years, why is CBSE and IGSE are capturing so much of attention? All these things can be read and learned. It is available in Tamil, it is available in English. So I want them to read. Just like I advise my students to read at least half an hour a day, I advise the parents to read half an hour a day. Something. And if you take a notes of it, okay, so you did not write anything, make an organized column, have an app called as Evernote. You take notes of whatever the things that you have been watching that particular day. And at the end of the month, that particular page becomes a journal. Show that to your son and daughter. They will be really inspired. Oh my God, mom has really taken this particular step towards my development. That is how they are supposed to, get to the next level. Because you can't live without this particular technological advancement. Why should you live without technological advancement? Use it, sail over it. So that is the best way to get updated. So it all depends upon the self-control. When you get into a smartphone, okay, like Manikandan Sundaresan said, I would like to read something about it. So they go to Wikipedia, all of a sudden a pop-up video comes, and look with the stars like Ajit Kumar or Vijay, they jump into it. That's where they are supposed to postpone it. Okay, we will see this later. That self-control, if it is coming into the parent, it will automatically coming into the child. So it's a long way to go. So we need to create a lot of awareness about this. So that is the only way, I would say, because that's what I am doing. Because whatever Mitra is doing now, I make sure that I get updated more than her. Because at any given point of time, she will feel, oh my God, I thought dad knows everything, but dad is a stupid. She might feel that because the education system is getting more advanced. So if I have to update myself, I have to run at the same pace that my 12-year-old daughter is running. That's what is the responsibility of every parent. That's what I feel.
Thank you for joining us today, sir. And it was very empowering to talk with you.
Right.
And this was very useful to all of us here, sir.
Right,
Thank
fantastic. And I would like to benignly hope with the same level of tenacity that you are having, I want the same level of communication to be developed in all these boys. So maybe you can give them some guidance, you can be friendly, and you can all work as a team so that this culture is really getting up. So this is the first time I'm giving interview. I have given interview in Radio City and other real FM channels, and I have given interview in FM channels of colleges. But this is the first time I'm giving in a school, and I would like to thank all the boys here, exclusively you and the teachers, for giving me this chance. All the very best.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.